Hi everybody. So as you know, we've been discussing ecology for the last few videos. So today we will be starting with something which is known as demography or population ecology. So to understand how a population behaves. Till now we were dealing on a much more organism level of ecology. Now we will talk about populations, right? So the moment I say population, we have discussed this definition quite a number of times. So population is the number of individuals of a given species living in a particular area at a given time. As I have already told you, it is a spatial as well as a temporal aspect. It has a spatial as well as a temporal aspect to it. That means it varies based on the amount of space and the period of time that we are talking about. Populations for any given individual, for any given species will vary based on what amount of space we are talking about and what amount of time we are talking about. But there are a few attributes that come in when we talk about population, and those are very common terms that we talk about on a regular day-to-day basis. So we'll try and understand them a bit better. So natality, which is birth rate. Birth rate in human populations are considered to be number of live births per 1000 individuals or 1000 humans. Basically, it refers to number of births in a given period of time upon original population. For animal populations, we can also consider this. Okay. Death rate or mortality is number of deaths per 1000 individuals. Again, it can be number of deaths upon the original population, right? So that basically means that these rates would vary based on the per capita as to the number of individuals that is present in that given population, correct? Now, immigration refers to inward movement. So for example, if I talk about human population of Pune. Pune, being an industrial hub, is getting more and more populated over the years. Why? Because many people from the other states of India and even abroad are coming into Pune for work. So then Pune has its original population of individuals living in 2025. In 2026, it will see an increase. Why? Because some people will decide to move in to Pune for jobs. So that's immigration, when people from outside are coming. Emigration is the opposite of it. So when people are moving, not essentially people, population, individuals of a population are moving out. So let's say in a similar situation, if the total number of people living here, some of them decide to go out to look for jobs or for any other reason, then that would be emigration. So a given population, so if this is the population size, then the factors that will contribute to its growth will be two intrinsic factors, the births and the deaths, two extrinsic factors, one is the emigration, the other is the immigration. Put together, it helps us to decide or calculate population size, right? So there's a formula that we use, it's very, very basic. So let's say NT is the population size at time t, right? Then at time t plus 1, what will be the change in the population? The change will be the total amount of births plus the total amount of immigrants, the total amount of minus the total amount of deaths and the total amounts of immigrants. So the total amount of gain minus the total amount of loss. That's the net increase. This is the increase. And if you add it to the original population, then you get the final NT plus 1 population, correct? We will take an example here and we will try to understand what I am trying to say. So let's say there is a pond in which there were 20 plants, lotus plants in the first year. So the original NT is 20. So now the new plants are 8. So number of births have been 8. And number of death has been 4, correct? Then NT plus 1 would be 20 plus birth. Now because there is no immigration and emigration, that is 8 minus 4, that's 24. 24 is the new population. I hope this much is clear. Correct? Now out of these 24, how do we then calculate the birth rate and death rate? Correct? So when we are considering the birth rate, because these new plants that have been born are in addition to the original 20, the birth rate calculation would be 8 upon 20. Correct? So that's 2 upon 5. Yeah? 0.4. Okay? Now, if we consider death rate, then 4 plants died. Right? So from the original 24 plants died and then 8 new plants were born. So you have the final population of 24. So we will calculate it as 4 upon 24, that is 1 upon 6. That would be the death rate. I hope this much is clear. Okay. Now then we come to the concept of population density, that is the number of individuals in one given space. Okay, so number of humans every square meter, let's say. So that's a square kilometer, let's say. So that's population density. So compared to a given unit area of space, how many of those individuals are present? So for example, there's an island called the Snake Island, right? In that island, in every square meter, you find good amount of 10-12 snakes, which is a very high amount. So square meter is somewhat like this amount of space. So in that amount of space, you will find 10-12 snakes. So it's very overpopulated with snakes, correct? Now, last one is sex ratio. Sex ratio is number of females upon the number of males. Sex ratio usually, ideally, should be equal to 1 or very close to 1 in any given population, because nature will strike a balance between males and females. However, in many states of India, we see a lot of disparity in the sex ratio because of problems of female infanticide and such problems where women, where little girls are killed because of the male son priority. So that is a problem, but sex ratio is a population attribute which can work on any population, not just human, but any population. I hope these attributes were clear to you. We'll move on to pyramids and growth models in the next upcoming videos. Thank you.